Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tour for Women's Mountain Moments. This is the Prepper Portions, and I am Judith Garden. I am here today to start another new series. I have so many ideas running around in my head, and this one is dedicated to our children. Now, some of our children were raised in a home where they are familiar with preparedness. However, as adults, they've never done it themselves, and they're lost. Some of our children never really knew about preparedness, and they're lost. So we are dedicating this series to people like them who don't know where to begin, and I am calling this One Step at a Time. Now, a couple of my girls specifically asked, where do I begin? Preparing your home grocery or home storage and family for what can come can be overwhelming. Start small. That's the best advice I can go with. Do what you can to start small. And I'm going to do a video now to show you one really great realization I came to thanks to my husband. One step at a time, and here we go. Now, I have to admit out loud, the other day, Jim actually changed my mind. He really did. I used to always tell people, they would ask me, what would you recommend? What's the one item you would recommend? A small appliance. What's the one you would recommend for everybody to get first? And I would always tell them you need a dehydrator. Because a dehydrator is very versatile. And when you're harvesting from your garden, you can actually store dry products in a lot smaller area than you can frozen products. So if you don't have a big freezer, dehydrator, and that is what I used to always tell people. But I was telling Jim the other day about something I had done for our food storage to put up products and make it appear to me that we're actually moving forward. And it doesn't just appear, we really are. We now have products stored we didn't have before. What I mean is this. Just in the last month, I have added to our food storage sugar, salt, pastas, and rice. I'm running out of hands. I also plan to add other items over the coming weeks. Now, if you'll notice, these items are in small packages, and there's a reason for that. You see, when I was telling Jim what I had done, he actually turned to me and said, then you should be telling people that one of the first things they should get is a vacuum sealer and not a dehydrator because it has more value. And you know what? At first, I actually got defensive and started defending my stance about dehydrator. I went, wait a minute. He's right, because I actually do use this more than a dehydrator, and not only that, but I use this to store the items we dehydrate. What do we dehydrate and store? How about apples? And yes, these are vacuum sealed. What about corn? This is 1.75 pounds of raw corn, dehydrated and sealed with my vacuum sealer. This is 24 ounces of peas and carrots, dehydrated and sealed with our vacuum sealer. So yes, the vacuum sealer is more valuable than my dehydrator. And I have to tell you that this product gets used all the time for so many different things. So what can you do? First, accept the fact that I have been corrected. And if I were going to recommend just one appliance, it would be definitely a vacuum sealer, but I would also recommend attachments, and I'll explain that in a moment. Once you catch on to all that you can do with your vacuum sealer, you will find you are putting up more and more food storage with every grocery trip than you ever thought possible. Now, I would also recommend a few other items I want to tell you about. Get a container of some kind that is waterproof. I use old food storage buckets. There are other containers that you can purchase that are waterproof. I just showed you my vacuum sealer. I held it up. Let me hold it up again. You see mine? Mine is nice and big and bulky, and that is because it is an older model. It's probably 15 plus years old. However, this is actually my second one. My first one I used so much. I actually burned out the heating element that is used for sealing the bags. And for safety reasons, I felt more comfortable to just toss that unit out and buy a newer one. At the time, this was the most sleek model for your countertop. It also, oh no, this is not the one. My apologies. There were some at the time that were styled similar to this that you could actually hang up on the wall. This one is not. I thought it was. I am glad I didn't get one that hangs up on the wall because I need the countertop flat surface to be able to hold the product bags while I'm sealing. It's just easier. I also want to recommend that when you buy a vacuum sealer, try and get as many attachments as possible. These attachments here are for sealing jars like these. You get a wide mouth and a small mouth. Now currently mine is a Foodsaver, and on the Foodsaver website I will put the link below. I don't know anything about any other vacuum sealers. This is the only brand I have ever owned. I'm just giving a review on this one in particular, and I recommend you check out the ones they have available and check out the items they come with. Sometimes they'll have a whole package deal or kit. Also check out other brands. You decide for yourself what you like the best. But for me, this works great. And like I said, it comes with, when you buy the set of jar sealers, you get both of these pieces and the tubing. Now, I no longer use the tubing or my vacuum sealer actually to seal when it comes to jars. I actually use my handheld Foodsaver to seal jars. This works much faster for sealing jars, and it means I don't have to take out all of the pieces of equipment to do it. I just grab this one, the jar sealer, and vacuum seal it. Now, they do have another one of these available online. It is a much smaller version. It is very different. It is rechargeable, and it is cordless. Mine is corded, and it has a very long cord that has absolutely no place to go, so I just wrap it up. I keep this in a container in the cupboard so that whenever I need to use it, and it's so simple, you just place, oops, I'll take the ring off, my apologies. You place your lid on your product. You put this on. With this plugged in, you simply set it like so and push the button, and it vacuum seals. It's fantastic. Now, we've done a specific video on storing in jars, which I will link to below for your shelf life on those, because a lot of people believe that you can seal those for 25 years, and that is not true. So I'll link to that video. Now, what else do I recommend? Well, if you're going to get the jar sealer, you're going to need jars. We've run into problems in the last couple of years that there have been jar shortages. So when you see them available, pick them up and grab them. But if you're going to buy a vacuum sealer, try to get a handful of jars with lids as well. At least get a couple of flats. I like the smaller jars for things like dried vegetables because this is actually 2 meals worth of corn in one jar. So we won't use, if we used a larger jar, we wouldn't use the whole thing before the corn goes bad. So I use these smaller jars for dried vegetables. Fruits, I use the larger jar because you have a tendency to use a large quantity of fruit when you open it or eat it all. Now, other items I want to suggest that you purchase along with your vacuum sealer and canning jars. You're going to want extra rolls of bags. Now, there are zipper bags available. I don't use those. There are also containers available from various companies. I don't use those. I don't find that they're necessary in my kitchen. We don't store leftovers for a long period of time. In my pantry, we have other storage methods, so that's not a necessity for containers in there. And the zipper bags, if I'm going to buy zipper bags, I'm just going to buy an inexpensive one because we go through whatever's inside it quickly enough. But for longer term food storage, you definitely want to have extra bags because once you realize what you can seal, you will be going crazy and you will seal a lot of things. I'm going to do another video soon about how I did these other products, and I will actually show you how to vacuum seal with my vacuum sealer, and the other ones that are out and available are similar. I will make sure that down in the description I put the list of supplies that I've recommended here so that you have it and you can write it down and copy it so that you can start looking into purchasing it. When it comes to telling you what I can seal or do seal, it'd be easier for me to tell you what I don't seal. What I do not seal at any point in time currently is our meats. We go through our meats fast enough, we rotate them through quickly enough that freezer burn is not an issue. That doesn't happen. It's not something we need to be concerned about, and our meats don't get damaged in any way. I just package them for immediate use. I don't waste these bags on doing meats. Now, at some point in time, we would like to get into purchasing bulk meats, and we will want to vacuum seal those because you're going to want to vacuum seal any meats that you're going to keep past 60 days. They will start to develop ice crystals and freezer burnt sections. It will come in handy for that. That's when we will use our bags to seal meat. I also don't like to seal any product we will be using within 6 months to a year. Like products we rotate through quickly. Those I might seal in jars, but not in bags. I save the bags for longer term food storage items. And if you remember the videos I talked about timing, to me longer term is 5 years. I try not to store anything past 5 years so that we're constantly rotating our food. And nothing goes bad. Things can deteriorate over time from simple things, and we have a video on that I'll link to as well. Now, as far as seeing what we do seal is pretty much anything else. When it comes to frozen foods, for example, other than meats, I'm very flexible. I may or may not vacuum seal fruits or vegetables in that case, unless it's something that I want for longer term. Again, if it's something we're going to use right away from the freezer, I'll keep it in its regular bag and not worry about vacuum sealing it. I will seal for longer term storage things, especially from our garden harvest. This year, a big thing was yellow squash and green squash. We got a lot of yellow squash this year. Very great blessing. So I did vacuum seal almost 3/4 of what we harvested because I wanted to make sure it lasts until the next harvest, which will be in 9 to 10 months. So that's how long that has to last. And I will do the same with fruits. If I'm going to freeze them for a longer term to get to the next harvest, they will be vacuum sealed. However, my favorite thing of all to vacuum seal is dry goods. And this is where I showed you this entire conglomerate of dried foods over here. Dried foods, dried goods go great in the sealer, and it will help them take up less storage space if you take them out of some of their original packaging. So I'm going to go over more of those individual things and what I did, as I said in another video. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so that you get the notification that that video is available when it becomes available. Hopefully seeing this variety of items alone has shown you how handy this vacuum sealer can be and how great it can be in your kitchen. As with anything that you buy like this appliance, there is a slight learning curve. I did learn that certain items that are very, very fine items like flour is a big one. It's very difficult to fully vacuum seal it. You can suction out most of the air, but not all. So you want to learn those things as you go along. Hopefully over time I will be doing more and more videos to show people different things like that so you can become familiar with them. I have so much to do, so many ideas in my head. Just remember that there are some things that are fine powder. Powdered milk can be another one, that are so fine you cannot fully vacuum. Other items, which I showed you, the pastas, these can pretty much be fully vacuumed. I have on occasion sucked enough air out to crush a few. You want to listen for that. If that starts to happen, seal your bag real quick. But these are great items to seal. Sugar can be vacuum sealed fully. Salt can be vacuum sealed fully. Those are saltine crackers is a bad one to vacuum seal all the way. But the versatility of a vacuum sealer is amazing. It is amazing, and this is definitely the appliance I would recommend any young family or first timer get. First and foremost is a vacuum sealer. Remember, get your vacuum sealer, your extra bags, your jar attachments, and your jars. And we'll be showing you more over time. Blessings and shalom.